I have been trying to find a way to resurrect the RZR 900 we have with a blown motor, and I want to make it so I can drive it on the road. And here in Florida, you cannot register a side-by-side for the road, so I thought, what better way than get a vehicle with a title that's super simple and put the body from that on the RZR chassis. I just so happened to be talking to a friend who, when I lived up north, this used to be my hunting truck, and I ended up just using it all the time. I paid $200 for it for years, and drove it for years. I think like 5 years I drove it for a $200 truck, and then I sold it for $200 to him when I moved to Florida, and then 4 years later, what's left of it just got towed back down to Florida for me, and it still runs real good. 22 RE, 5-speed, 4-wheel drive, manual locking front hubs. It is super duper crusty. Check this thing out. So being this rusty, it's going to be like super good candidate to not use any of this frame, because I don't believe you're supposed to be able to make, like, you can just send this to people. Here you go. You want some Toyota? Everybody wants a vintage Toyota. We just don't have a lot of it. We should shake this thing really hard and just like collect it with like a... But so since this thing is absolutely terrible, I do have to take off the wheels and return them to my friend, because those are off his Land Cruiser. Crusty, but original. Let's check out the RZR. So RZR 900 XP, it's a 2011. The bottom of these is like a steel tube frame, so I should be able to take the floor off of, or cut the floor out of the Toyota cab, remove all this bodywork, and slide the cab on. They're actually pretty close in width, so I got to take some measurements to get the exact sizing, but I think it's going to be actually really close. I want to use pretty much front suspension, steering, and diff out of the RZR, because the 22 RE in the Toyota is like 100 horsepower, and the 900 that I pulled out of the RZR, or well, it's not pulled out, it's just blown up sitting in the back there. The 900 of the RZR is like 86 horsepower, so they're actually really close power wise. So I don't think I have to worry about blowing out the front diff for the little bit of time I'm going to use it for 4-wheel drive. This thing does have Fox Podium reservoir coilovers on it. They're still selling for quite a bit, and I believe that they're going to be plenty strong. Obviously, I'll have to adjust spring rates and such for the Toyota body to be on this. It's going to change the weights a little bit. Oh, so rusty, Rick. But I think it's going to be really wicked, and I'm going to try to stuff the 22 RE in the middle somehow, where I can keep the center mount front suspension from the RZR, because if you see, like on a RZR and on trophy trucks, the pivots are really close together, and you get the long arm and you get a nice sweep with it and really good geometry. And so I'm going to try to keep that as much as possible. So when I put the motor in, I'm going to want to have the front of the motor behind those suspension mounts. I might have to change the upper arms, but Polaris did make them like a J-arm setup where they are off to the front. So I should be able to have the engine front right about here, and that 22 RE will come into the cab, and then off the build a big transmission hump. And hopefully I can use the 5-speed and the transfer case out of this. The front suspension's pretty crusty, so I don't want to use any of that, but I think I can use the diff. Oh, check this out. So some of the leaf pack is still intact. Somebody tried doing a bunch of plate work to this. They put it on and they welded some of it, and they just caulked the rest and thought that that was acceptable. But look at that leaf pack. It's just falling apart. Oh, we'll leave that there. Apparently on the 1,000-mile tow, this thing lost the drive shaft came out somewhere in Georgia, apparently. It came apart from the slip yoke and just dispatched itself. The shock mount gave out, and he must have drug it for quite a while without knowing. Just ripped out of the frame, if that's what you can call a frame. The gas tank is held up by a piece of conduit. But that's precisely why we're not going to use any of it. The biggest thing for me is this thing, like, the smell of it brings back a lot of memories, because we drove this truck everywhere for a long time. Got that 5-speed, 4-wheel drive. Let's fire this thing up. The nice thing about a 22 RE is that they always start. This thing had a head gasket go out on me, and I just paid for a $60 head gasket and put it in it, and then just clamped the head down, torqued it twice, called it good. That lasted about 2 years, then the head gasket went out again. And then when I sold it to my friend, he shaved the head down to get it decked and flat, and then matched it up and put a new head gasket in it. And it's been that way for a long time. Let's clutch in. Neutral. Never fails. You literally cannot beat a 22 RE. You can beat the hood latch though. We gonna be able to get it open? Hold that thought. Precisely why you always have to have your pocket knife. Perfect, simple Toyota. It's done a good job of just kind of eliminating all the unnecessary missing stuff. So you can see a lot of vacuum caps on there. But she runs like a champ with, I think it's just barely broken in with 236,391 miles. So that's the gist of the new project. It's going to be a truck for my son. I was going to give him my Tundra when he got his license, and I was going to get something else, but I don't know if you've been following the Tundra. It's turning into quite the beast. And it's not like you build a pre-runner Tundra, you put a fiberglass front tilt kit on it, you change everything to look like a 2020, and then you just want to give it up to your 16-year-old son. I'd do it, but this was an easier option. Yep, I'm working on the suspension on this today, but I did just want to share the new Toyota truck, new old 93. It's just an awesome truck. There isn't a lot of these left, but you can see with near 250,000 miles on it, it still just fires up, runs smooth. It's going to be wicked to stuff it into an RZR chassis. Hopefully sooner than later, I will be beginning to disassemble this, take the cab off, cut part out everything of value in the RZR that I'm not going to need, and then start fitting things like the cab onto there and measuring out how the motor is going to sit in there. So yeah, thanks for stopping by. You're going to see more of that. Right now I'm working on the long travel suspension for the Tundra, so hopefully soon I'll have a video of that. I did order a big set of long travel coilovers for it, and there's going to be a lot to come on that project. Obviously There's also the boat you guys saw me restore. We're going to just keep doing a lot of this. It seems like people like to watch the build stuff, especially when you're a guy like me building it outside in sandals or barefoot in the sun, not really working in the garage or anything like that. So next up, long travel suspension. And then we are going to build a 93 Toyota Polaris RZR Truggy. I'm going to narrow up the front end. We're going to make this thing look wicked. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you later. Peace.